So today on our Let's Talk little program, we're going to be talking about starting a passion project. And I put this in quotes because passion projects can mean a lot of things. It could be a project that you're actually looking to make come to life, like a full on production, or it could just be something that helps you, uh, like a catalyst to building a portfolio or just something for fun that you and your friends want to do. There's so many different avenues to starting a passion project and different purposes to starting a passion project. So I'm just going to share with you my passion project, which is ConCon Love. And I've had other passion projects in the past, but they were never as big as ConCon Love, or like I didn't stick with it, which is also okay. I also want to mention that just because it's your passion project, your baby, whatever, doesn't mean you have to stick with it for the rest of your life or make it into something grand. It could just, a passion project can be something really small, even like a few pieces, and then like, oh, I'm done. Like, you don't need to make it into some grand project, hence the word passion project. It's supposed to be fun. And if you guys have any questions, you can always ask them in the VC chat channel. I'm constantly checking it because unlike a demo, I can actually just look at my screen and see what you guys are typing rather than drawing in looking at my screen. So I guess I'll start with how ConCon Love began. ConCon Love was it started off as a joke with my convention friends. At the time, like me and a few Artist Alley friends, we were like single, and we were joking around about how, oh, we just do conventions because we want to meet more other single people around the world and find our true love. And I was like, that'd be such a great dating sim idea. We should make it. And so I actually thought it was a really good idea. And then we started making like archetypes and tropes and just talking about, oh, if it was a game, what would be in it. From there, I started creating my characters, like starting with Jubilee. Jubilee was supposed to be like the main obvious choice in any dating sim. There's always an obvious choice girl where you're like, that's the girl they want me to pick because she's clearly the most well-rounded, best character to pick. And then from there, I also created other archetypes like the tsunderes, where like, the girl that you want to step on you. All dating sims, for the straight male audience, they love the step on me please type of woman character archetype. So I created her. That's Momo. She's my pink haired girl, and of course I gave her the big bitties, the big titties, because I'm a designer for video games. Uh, while sure we don't always want to fall into stereotypes or tropes, they sell. They mark. There's a reason why they are a part of a game or in a certain archetype because they sell. And also, this was more like it was like a fun, joking kind of project that I started, and it was just me. But friends were really like chiming in because we all kind of created the idea together. And so, yeah, or honestly, when I first started ConCon Love, I wanted to make a dating sim. I actually wanted to make a game, and I was actually planning to learn coding to make the game, learn how to do Unity programming and stuff like that. And I do have a little bit of background in that, so it's not totally impossible or unobtainable, but it was a very big scope for just one person. So another reason why I started doing ConCon Love is because at the time I just wanted to create something that was mine and have fun with it. Again, passion projects are all about having fun. If you're not having fun, why are you doing it? There was no like serious, like, I'm gonna get this done in 3 years or something kind of vibe. Like, I wasn't like, this is gonna be a game for sure. I would have liked it to be a game, and or like maybe even a manga, I guess. But I'm not really a comic artist, so that wasn't as likely. People would, I would post these on Instagram, and people would be like, "Oh, I can't wait to see what this becomes." And uh, I did some covers, and people were like, "Oh, I want to read the manga," and I'm like, "There is no story." But basically, what it became was just kind of a platform for me to explore these characters that people seem to really resonate with. And honestly, the sky's the limit. I could do anything with these characters. The point is that I have them now, and I'm still developing ConCon Love. It's not done. There's no clear end goal. All I know is what I want to do with it, which is explore animation now. So originally I wanted to make a game. Then I was thinking, oh, I want to make toys with them, which I still do. And now I want to use it to kickstart NFTs, because I just wanted to do NFTs. It's not like, oh, ConCon Love, it is my NFT project now kind of vibe. No, I just, again, I'm using ConCon Love as a platform to try things. So it's not so much I'm making it to become an anime or a manga or a game. I'm making it so that I have uh, like content or characters that I can use. They're very malleable. You can pretty much put them in any situation and make it a project or product. So yeah, what it became was just a platform to try things out. Um, I won't say that, oh, this is the way to do passion projects. I think for me it just happened organically where this idea stuck, because like I said, I've had ideas in the past where I'd be like, oh, I have a great story idea. Let me start making characters for this story, settings, and blah blah blah. And then it would just get too big, and this I stop falling in love with the idea, and then it just dies. I've had that happen so many times. I'm sure it's for others, like for some of you, or maybe all of you, you've had an idea and you're like, oh, this is a great idea. I'm going to make it come to life. And you start working on it, and then it drags on. And then you're like, oh, I'm not into this anymore. You know what? I'm just going to scrap it. I don't even think it's a good idea anymore. I'm just going to move on to something else. And you know what? That's normal, and that's totally acceptable. Like, that's okay. Because, again, the point of these passion projects is to just get you started on developing something, creating things, or making a nice little few pieces. Sorry, I'm still getting over a bit of a cold, so I might mute my mic a few times so you can't hear me coughing in your ear. So I think I wanted to talk about some, I guess, mindsets to have when starting a passion project. Uh, I think a big one for people in the industry is creating a portfolio. A lot of times people are like, where do I start when it comes to making a portfolio for getting a job? First things first is figuring out what kind of job are you trying to apply to? Is it animation, video games, product design, toy design, technical design, and then technical design in games or animation or whatever, or products again? Like, the more specific and clear you are on what you're trying to go for, the easier it is going to be for you to create a portfolio surrounding that. So I'm just going to start with my own example that I know best is video games, and specifically concept art in video games. That is what I wanted to get into and eventually did get to get into. uh, Now, if I were to tell young me how to form a portfolio to be a concept artist in video games for character design, you see how I'm getting really, really specific? It's not just like, oh, I just want to work in video games. Doing what? 3D, 2D? What? No. I want video games, character design, concept art. And then even more specific, am I going for stylized video games, indie video games, triple A? Triple A, definitely you have to show a very wide or honed set of skills in video games, at least. And then if I wanted to work at AAA, would it be like, oh, do I want to work at Riot Games versus Naughty Dog versus Ubisoft, EA, etc.? So do your research. And then when I figured out that, so I'm gonna go for indie games because that's what I'm in right now. So let's say young me, I tell myself, okay, get focused. Character design, concept art, stylized indie games. I ask my young self would ask me, what do I do to make this portfolio? I would actually tell them, like, start a passion project, start developing a universe or a world where you can create characters to live in it. Just making sure I'm reading your messages, guys. Okay, good thing you guys can hear me. Yeah, so create characters that would fit in a world. And because I'm not going for prop design or environmental design, excuse me. Sorry. Yeah, so the focus is not doing environmental or prop design. You could do a little bit of that, but I wouldn't spend a lot of your time developing that. Just write it down. Like, write down what your world looks like. You don't have to illustrate like crazy splashes of what your world looks like unless you want to. But if the goal is to make a character design portfolio to show that your clients that you can do character concept art, focus on that. Don't dilute your work with other stuff. Be clear in your portfolio. So yes, the passion project, make it surround or give yourself a platform to make characters. And so let's say right now cyberpunk styles are very popular. Everybody loves futuristic things right now, cyberpunk stuff, space. So if I were to create a portfolio for current day, I would create a world that allows me to explore cyberpunk style stuff or themes. So maybe I would give myself a setting of like, okay, we're in the future, but not too far into the future, maybe close modern future. uh, then I would start gathering references on like Pinterest and then creating maybe like a very loose story. Doesn't have to be specific unless you wanted to, but you want to keep yourself, you want to make the world like pretty open so that you can create characters. So where would we start? Obviously a main character. We need a main character for our story. So you start with your main characters, then maybe your side characters, what would they look like? And I would make sure to have a nice lineup of at least 3 characters, because 3 is a perfect number to start on a character lineup, because it shows, with 3 characters you can show a variety of shape language, uh, different size proportions, and uh, keep things looking stylistically coherent. So like the fashion should all look similar because they are all characters from the same world. Uh, they they should look like they come from either like the same like city, town, or time period. Like you wouldn't put a Viking next to a space man or woman next to an alien. Like I'm sure there are some games that have those aspects, but again, it's like let's be as clear as possible. Let me see if I can find some examples for you guys of some nice uh, world building. And I would tell young me to do this because actually I had my mentor told me that's how he got work, is through developing his own story, his own passion project, and using his passion project he basically made a portfolio. And I honestly think that's one of the best ways to start an industry portfolio, because it shows employers that you know how to stick within a theme or an IP and follow rules. That's another thing when developing a passion project. You need to write down your own rules, because if you just have unlimited blue sky options, nothing will be coherent. So you gotta set rules for yourself. Like, is this gonna be cute? Is it gonna be cool? Is it gonna be edgy? What kind of lines am I gonna use? What kind of shape language am I gonna use? Is it gonna be very sharp? Is it gonna be very round or bubbly? Um, Everything again needs to feel like they belong together. And I think the best way to show you guys this is through like some examples. So I'm gonna try to find some examples. And I'm just looking at character design specifically because that is what I know. When it comes to environmental stuff, I honestly believe it's the same, where things should look coherent, they should look like they're part of the same world. It's just the specifics I would not be able to tell you because I'm not an environmental expert. So I'm going to drop some work by Koa Viet, who's an amazing concept artist. This is one project they worked on with these like cute characters, and you can see that all these characters, they look like they belong to the same world. They have like similar fashion, they use the same head shapes, they have like bright colors, like similar color palettes. And then I'll show you another project that they worked on that is like vastly different. If I could find it, I'll just pick this one. So this one is called Dustbusters. This was seems like a personal project or a submission for Lightbox Expo. And you can already tell there's a huge like stock difference between the first example and the second one. Like, yeah, they're both stylized, but one has more kind of a bubbly theme. It's more cute. It's more friendly. It looks like a fun kind of shooter game, where the other one is darker, more mature. The proportions are more realistic to like 7 head tall humans. And you can really feel that like they're two totally different IPs, but both made by the same artist, both by the same guy. And that's another thing. You can have multiple passion projects, and especially if you're trying to develop a portfolio, you may want to have at least two to show that you can follow your own rules. These are important for an employer because they need to know, can you follow our game style or our rules to our game? Okay, so Mao Tu Lee, you asked, what is my opinion regarding gaming NFTs and crypto games? Honestly, I don't really see them that much different than working on like indie games or like freelancing in general. The only thing I would be careful about is the contracts, and just really make sure you're getting what you deserve. With some contracts, you can negotiate some kind of royalty percentage because NFTs, they generate money through their secondary sales and so forth. Let me think regarding NFTs gaming. Yeah, I honestly don't really see it too different in terms of the work itself. Uh, the contracts is where it's gonna differ. And just be careful, make sure you get paid and you're working with trusted people. And I know through the internet it's always hard to know who do I trust, who do I know is not gonna like dick me over. Typically, I want to say you'll get a good vibe once you have conversations with them. If they sound like they're shady and they're being dodgy about your questions, like they should not be dodgy about anything about payment or what you're going to be responsible for or what the project is about. These are all things that they need to be ready to show you. If they don't have a clear vision on what they're trying to do, there's a good chance that this project's not going to go through. And just make sure first things and foremost is that you get paid. Like, I would hate to see any of my fellow artists not get paid for the hard work that they do. If you're unsure, it's always okay to be like, hey, can we do a few tester pieces and get them to pay for the few pieces before you start like full time with them or like full production. Those are things you could do. Those are just options. I'm not a fan of the pay up front, like pay half up front, pay half later. I would understand those methods for commissions, but I don't know. Personally, I don't like to work with my clients like that. Like, I like to build trust with my clients. And if, if they don't pay me in the end, then they technically own nothing. And I can take all my designs back and publish it, no problem, on my Instagram, on my Twitter, because bitch didn't pay. So technically, all this stuff is still mine. So. And on top of that, again, Twitter is such a powerful social media tool. You could be like, hey guys, don't work for this person because they scammed me. They made me do all this work and they didn't even pay me. And so here's the work that I did for them. Like, it would be in your client's best interest to pay you because otherwise it would be bad for them. It would send a red flag amongst the community. And artists, we're not a huge community. Eventually, you get to a point where everybody knows everyone, or will eventually. And, word gets around fast, they'll be like, "Don't work with this person. They dicked over my friend. They didn't pay. They're not good for it. They're shady." So, yeah, it would be in their best interest to pay you if they want the work. I guess also another rule of thumb is just don't send any like Photoshop files or like high res files until you know like they're good for the money. So, like at least the first time. If the first time they pay you and everything and all is good, then going forward, you can send stuff with no worries that you're gonna see the payment later. But in the beginning, you may wanna hold off for a little bit. Um, yeah. So back to passion projects. I talked a lot about doing passion projects for industry portfolios, but we're not all trying to work at AAA or indie studios or whatever. What about passion projects that are just for the self? Um, Hold on, I'm gonna take a sip of water. So, passion projects for the self. I think these are super great. And personally, I feel like everyone should have a passion project. There are some artists who are like, they don't believe in the passion projects. They're like, no, you don't have to have one. I agree, you don't have to have one, but I think they're nice to have in the back pocket if you ever want to like go back to something that's comfortable, that is like a safe place, which is your own little project. Um, when thinking about doing your own passion project for the self, again, I think you don't have to be as strict as making a portfolio passion project, but you should still have some kind of ground rules. Kind of have like an overarching goal of what you want to do with it. And it can be as vague and loose as like, I just want to explore colors, or I just want to tell a story of like a little bird going on an adventure. And I say this because there's this one artist I love. Her name is Janice Chu. And every so often I see her drop a little piece, and it's always like her little bird, and it's like a wizard or something. And there, you can tell it's not going to be anything in terms of like a game or a production, but they're just kind of like pleasant to look at. And they all uh, relate to one another because you can tell it's the same style, same like resolution that she keeps using. I'm trying to find it, but I'm not sure if I'll find it. I'll be real. Let me check Instagram. And I feel like for her, this little project of hers, and maybe she doesn't consider it a passion project, but to me, it looks like a passion project where it's like, oh, I'm exploring these ideas through these cute little drawings. Here, found it. So I saw her doing a few of these little squares. She's not the best at posting on Instagram. I think she always posts these really high resolution images, and then Instagram will reduce it and it'll make it all blurry. Because on Twitter it'd be clear, but yeah, on Instagram I think she's just too lazy to resize. But just looking at all of these, it's the same bird, but different environments, and they all follow the same resolution. This to me is already like a passion project. And it's honestly chill. There's no like, oh, I'm gonna make this into a game or a real IP. It's more like I'm just chilling. I'm just having fun. I'm playing with some colors. I'm staying loose. I'm trying to see how many different scenarios I can make with this little sword and this little bird. let's see. Thanks to workshop, something about yeah, so it looks like it just started as like something from a workshop and then she decided to expand on it. And honestly, that's kind of how passion projects are sometimes, especially for the self. They just start off as something small and silly, like Comic-Con Love. Like, what would a dating sim in a convention look like? And you kind of just like start building up, making building blocks to develop your now passion project. And you can end it anytime. There's no pressure to finish it. Again, it's just a catalyst for you to try things. My own project, it's gone through many evolutions already to where it is today. And that's because I keep changing. So I'm always gonna change the style because I'm changing. There's no concrete mission with this. But what stays consistent are the characters and the lightheartedness that I want it to be. Ultimately, it's about love and slice of life, basically. Oops, close that. Let me see if I can find some more good passion projects that I've seen. Oh, okay. So we can also talk about serious passion projects, the ones that you do want to make into a product. So my favorite example is from my mentor. He goes by many names on the internet. I don't know why he doesn't just pick one. He makes it so much harder to find him. But I will show you the trailer that he worked on for his own passion project. Three years ago. So some of you might have seen this before. Excuse me, sorry. It is Legend, a Dragon Ball tale. So this is by Nasir Pasha. I call him Nas because we're friends, and that's a short way of saying his name. And he started this passion project 3 years ago now, and he claims he's almost done, but I think it will be done this year. I think it will. And this is not his first rodeo in doing a passion project. He also wrote a 3-book manga, wrote and illustrated a 3-book manga all by himself. I think that was his first big passion project. Now he's a type to start something and finish it and make these incredible products. And every time he goes into doing one of these passion projects, he has a very clear purpose of what he's trying to do with it. So with his manga, his purpose was to tell his story. He was really set on telling his story in the way that he wanted to through manga. And he did it all by hand. He inked it all by hand. There were many, many pages. That was another thing. He's like, I'm going to do this all by hand. And I don't remember how long it took him, but he was working hard on it. It was kind of crazy. I bought all of them, the books, but I haven't read through them. I kind of just wanted to support, but I should read through them. But we'll talk about the more recent passion project of his, which is Legend, a Dragon Ball tale. So for him, he made this his master film. He is an animator, for those of you that don't know, an animator and storyboard artist. And he didn't just start this because, oh, I want to make a fan animation or fan movie of Dragon Ball. I mean, yes, he loves Dragon Ball and everything, but he wanted to use this as a master film thesis, basically, to really test his like skills and knowledge and everything that he knows as an animator and put it to the test and use this project to develop basically his pipeline, his production organization, his everything. Honestly, everything. It's his master thesis. So he's honestly such an inspiration to me. I am always so admiring of his hard work and his approach because he's very methodic in his workflows and in his lifestyle even, and how he approaches projects or work and stuff like that, or learning. And this is another way you could use passion projects. He's actually the one who told me how create some world building to create your portfolio for industry work. And honestly, it makes sense because it shows employers not only can you create, but you can stick within your own rules. So yeah, those are a few ways or a few things you can think about when starting a passion project. And ways to start one. Start small, start simple, have fun with it. Or if you're going for something as big as making an animated short or a video game or a manga or a story of any sort, have like a clear goal and mission in mind. Like, why are you doing this? What are you trying to get out of it? And also make it a scope that you know you can complete. So for my friend Nas, he didn't know this was gonna take so long, but he's good for it. Like he's gonna get it done because one, he's already put out this trailer. It's kind of like can't not put it out now, and two, it's his master thesis film to himself. So he's got to do it. And he's done crazier stuff before, so he knows he can do it. So what I'm trying to say is make sure you scope out your project to be doable for yourself. So if you're only capable of doing something not so big in the beginning, that's fine. It could be as simple as like creating 3 characters that look like they belong in the same world. It could be as simple as, doing like 3 different run cycles with different characters. I don't know, that could be your passion project. Or the same character running in different angles and speeds or whatever. I don't know. Just know that whatever you do choose, know why you're doing it. Don't just do it because someone told you to do a passion project like me, but do it because one, you want to, two, because it's going to teach you something. You want to learn something out of these. You don't want to just go into it blind. So Hikaru asks, how do you juggle working on a personal project and a job at the same time, like an art job or a normal job on the side? The best advice I could give is you have to allot a specific time to work on your passion project outside of doing your day job, whether it be art already or anything else. So I know working full time anywhere is hella tiring. Trust me, I know. I used to work 60-hour weeks at a VFX studio, and then I would have to come home and continue working on portfolio pieces because I wanted to do concept art. I didn't want to be in VFX. I didn't make it yet, so I had to keep working. Um, and it's hella tiring because you work all day, you're tired, you just want to lie down and take a nap after. Um, so the best thing I can do is you gotta allot time for it. Either it be 1 hour a day or or a few hours every Saturday, a day that you're off, and stick to your schedule. Hold yourself accountable. One thing also is that if an idea is good enough, you will want to keep working on it. You will want to continue chipping away at it. Uh, my thing is that if an idea is not good enough, it's gotta fizzle out. Uh, or even if the idea is good, you might not be into it enough to continue working on it. If you can't find the motivation to work on your own passion project, it might be you don't actually feel that passionate about it. That's the hard pill to swallow. And if that does happen, all I can recommend is find a new and better idea that you will want to work on. Because not all ideas are going to be, like, not all of your first ideas or second ideas are going to be home runs or hitters. Like I said, I've also had many projects where I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be awesome. This is such a dope idea. And then I start working on it and I'm like, it's actually kind of lame. I don't even want to work on it anymore. Even with ConCon Love, I was like, I don't really want to work on this anymore. I'm gonna take a break from it. And I did. I took a little bit of a break from it. But then I came back to it for some reason. You know what? It's because I wanted to start painting, and I was like, I have nothing to paint. Oh, why don't I just paint my characters from ConCon Love? Yeah, and if like personal projects are something that you want to make come to life, I would definitely say set some goals, like doable goals, and allot time to your personal project. Um, like whether it be a few hours once a week or an hour a day, and pick time where you're most awake. I would say because there's been times where this is not related to passion projects, but when I was learning animation last year, I knew that my brain retained information best in the morning, and I just function the best in the morning. Like, I'm just the most productive in the morning. So, the first thing I would do in the day is animate. I would work on my animation homework and do as much as I can in an hour. And then after that hour, I would get into my regular job, my day work. Cuz that stuff is like kind of autopilot. I don't have to put too much thought into it in terms of like learning. Like I just have to appease my clients. So because I know by the time nighttime rolls up, I'm too tired. I can't like focus. I can't find the motivation to do things. So I'll do it in the morning instead of after work. So figure out what works best for you. Set an hour a day to do it and just stick to it for a week, a month. See how much stuff you can get done when you hold yourself accountable to a schedule. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it in any way. It is not easy. You have to really be self-disciplined. Like, you gotta pull up your bootstraps and just do it. There's no easy way around it. There's no trickery. There's some things that you can do to, I guess, self-motivate. For example, let's say you get through 1 week of doing 1 hour a day of your passion personal project. End of that week, treat yourself to something nice. Get yourself some bubble tea. Get yourself that slice of cake or some ice cream. I don't know, whatever makes you happy. Because you deserve it. You worked hard. You did it. That's something I learned from my bestie, is to treat yourself when you've done good. Because it's important that we remind ourselves that we did a good job. Like, it doesn't sound like a lot. Oh, an hour every day for a week. But it is. You did it. Not everyone can say they can do stuff like that. So you deserve a pat on the back and maybe a little treat. Little cheat day. Yeah. Yeah, you should treat yourself. I'm a fan of treating yourself. Sometimes I tell myself I'm gonna treat myself because I worked hard, but I still don't. But it's still nice to tell myself that I would. Just knowing that, like, given the opportunity, I would get myself something nice. But I'm just lazy. I'm too lazy to get the nice thing. Or, like, I'm not feeling it that day. Like, I'm not feeling bubble tea or ice cream. But I know I worked hard this week. Yeah. I think passion projects are also great to just learn a new skill. Um, another good little mini passion project that I did was my Naruto Sona stuff. And it kind of came at the right time where um, me and a few friends, we were developing our Naruto Sonas. It was for fun. And I made these character sheets that actually worked really well as animation sheets as well. And I was learning animation at the time. So what I did was I used my character to do my animation homework. And it worked out so well. Like, I learned so much about design, like where to cut corners, where to um, simplify designs in the future so that I don't have a huge ass headache. It was good. Yeah, it was good. I used her for a lot of things. No, um I named her just based on noodles. Her backstory is that she's just a daughter of a noodle shop family owner. Like, they don't like make the food. They make the actual noodles and they sell them to other restaurants. Like, they're noodle makers. Yeah, they provide the noodles to the ramen shop. Because eventually the ramen shop gets more popular and they're going to need more ramen. How else are they going to get enough ramen noodles? You got to outsource to other shops to make them. Yeah, Konoha Village. So that was kind of like a nice mini passion project that had good use case. Like, I made a character, used it for animation, worked out really well. That's basically what I'm trying to do with ConCon Love. I have these characters, I want to animate them and explore slice of life animation. Like, the stuff that makes you feel good. How can I illustrate that? Yeah, I'm not sure what more I can say about passion projects. Feel free to just keep asking questions because I'm not sure what more to say or what I've missed. To me, anything that's not uh, like out for monetizing gain is a passion project. How do you know it's your passion though? Um, I want to say honestly, you won't know until you start like working on it. Because you could think of an idea and be like, "That's a great idea," and then start working on it, and it's not hitting it. You won't know until you start doing it that you're feeling passionate about it. You start like thinking about it in your off time when you're at work doing your mundane job stuff, and you're like, oh, like what if I add this to the story, or what if I have a character like that, or what if I put these aspects into these things. I think if it starts taking over your your daydreaming thoughts, you, I think that's a good sign that you're passionate about it. Excuse me. Okay. Um, I'm not sure if there's any more to talk about on this topic, so I think I'm gonna close it off here. Also, because my throat's feeling kind of dry now, and I keep drinking water, it's not working. It's not. It's not making it any better. I'll try. I'm not sure what the next Let's Talk will be about. I'll think about it. If you guys have any ideas, feel free to drop in the suggestion box channel, and I can try to get more guest speakers as well, so it's not just me doing all the talking and drying out my throat. Because yeah, I love having guest speakers on, and it's nice to bounce like conversation with people and you guys. The next one will be in 2 weeks from now. When I release the next calendar, you'll know for sure what it's going to be about. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I'm almost 100%. I feel like I'm 90% better. I just have this cough still. Yeah. Take care everybody this weekend. Please stay warm, stay healthy. Tomorrow I'm doing my NFT drop, so I don't know if any of you guys are interested, but even if you're not planning to partake, come check it out. See how it works, see how everything goes down. Um, doesn't hurt to check it out. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this Let's Talk. Not as boisterous as some of the previous ones, but I did my best with my cold. And I did record it, so I will post that up somewhere. Maybe I have to start an archives channel for archiving things. Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. And if you have any more questions about passion projects at any time, just feel free to DM me or post it in any of the chats that make sense. Don't be shy. Don't be a stranger. All right, peace out. Have a great weekend.